Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Questbound Reader. Guys, today we're going to be talking about a new book that I just finished. It's the start of a new series. It's a trilogy, and it is The Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. So, you're going to like this book if you like heavy religious fantasy mixed with very I say it again for the people in the back, dark stuff happening. Now, this is a prophecy of fiery absolution and forces to play at getting this to happen and the opposite, right, of stopping fiery absolution from occurring. What is a fiery absolution? Pretty much what it stands for. It is going to be a war, and there's going to be a bunch of fire, and people are going to die. Think of this. I can compare this book to, man, okay. Reading this book, I thought of the Bible because a lot of the things are very similar, but twisted into a fantastical and very deep and dark aspect. So we have different groups. We have the Prince of the followers of Rigel. So there's three main. I guess where to start, man. Where do you start? There's three major religions or beliefs. You have the followers of Mia, who is, think of it like the mother or the wife of this other being that we're going to get into. Then we have Rigel, who is another one of the religious, I guess, deities. And then we have Lejon. God, I'm pretty sure I butchered all three of those names. So listen, fight me. All right, I'm bad with pronouncing names. It's okay. Um, these three parties have different beliefs, right? Some believe that the followers of Lejon, for example, believe that they will follow think of it like a pope and the five like think of archbishops that are with like the pope or whatever, but there's five of them, and then they rule over everything that has to do with religion and dictate how things should be done. The kings adhere to these people. They are above one of the kings, and they really have all this power. And it's just, it's crazy, right? I think of like the Crusades, or like even before that, when like the church had more power than like kings or presidents or anything like that. It's pretty cool. It's very interesting. If you're into those kind of things, I definitely think you'll like this book. Then you have the followers of Rigel, who follow King Eros, who is like this war crazed, um, beautiful. The book does mention he's a beautiful person, who is trying to deliver everybody with fiery absolution. So he is the reincarnation, quote unquote, of Rigel, the last son. And he is gonna, bring forth this war and reclaim all these territories and claim the five angel weapons and stones. So the five angel weapons and stones were stones that gave and weapons that gave these warriors great powers and strength and whatnot. Um, this was These two were the main opposing forces, and they don't really get along with each other. They think one are heretics. They think the other ones are charlatans, and they just want to kill each other off and claim power. Now you have the followers of the Book of Mia, and Mia was the wife to Lejon, and she's the one that ultimately laid him to rest when he died. But her books are kind of like taboo. There are these scrolls that everybody thinks it's like witchcraft or whatnot, but they are kind of like a secret society. It's called the Brotherhood of Mia or something like that. Um, and their goal is to prevent fiery absolution and to claim, give unite the five reincarnations of the five warrior angels, and stop this king or this, arrows from taking over the continent, and also teach the uneducated followers of Lejon, who follow the way and the truth of Lejon, which is like this book. Think of it like their Bible, and they've been misguided for, since the start. So let's get into our main characters. We have a cast of a very wide array of main characters from all points of views and all beliefs. But I want to say our main character. His name is Nail, Nail, and he is a bastard. is what the book has us believe, even though he's not, but he is. At the start of the book, we have someone um, that goes by an alias, Shawcroft, and he is this kid. He takes this kid under his wing, and he teaches him how to do a bunch of useful things that are masked as useless things. Think of like Karate Kid, washing the windows, scrubbing, right? All these kind of things. Um, his master is a fantastic warrior. He used to be a day knight, which is one like an elite force of knights. Not only that, he's a follower of Mia, of this brotherhood, and they're trying to, again, prevent absolution from happening and free actually the world. So in this book, um, his master rescues him while his mother is being killed, and he kind of teaches him the ways of being a decent person, but doesn't really give him any background. His master was a tough person, not very loving, and he spent his whole life uh, apparently looking through mines and digging and stuff like that, trying to find one of the angel weapons and stones. But of course, not many people know that. Not many people know the truth behind the Brotherhood of Mia. So Neo just grows up thinking his master is like a piece of crap who doesn't care about him. Everybody has told him that he's never going to amount to anything. Everybody in his village, like they refuse to give him any blessings of Pope and in the followers of Lejon because he's a bastard, and apparently bastards have no place in their beliefs. Think of like Jon Snow. This guy is literally Jon Snow. Anyway, so he's just trying to get through, right? He falls in love with this girl who then falls in love with another guy that shows promise and shows that he'll grow in standing. There's a love triangle, there's betrayal. And then Neo is ultimately he bears the mark of one of the five angel warriors. I'm not going to tell you who that is. You have to read. You have to read. But it's the coolest sounding one of the five, right? And he does find the weapon that his master finds for him that belongs to one of the five angel warriors. Loses it. I'm not going to tell you how. And it gets interesting, right? His story to me, or his point of view, was the most fascinating. I love that I can very much relate, and I felt sorrow in the moments he did. I felt joy in the brief moments that he did. He's a fighter. He doesn't give up, and he has a good sense of justice. He is. I mean, I get him. He's been told his whole life he's a piece of crap, and he'll never amount to anything. And then he's placed into a very strong prophecy, and it's been made known to him in the midst of a war that he didn't want to have, right after his whole village gets like pretty much wiped out by King Eros. um it's crazy. Okay, next we have two people from a different kingdom, followers of Lejon, and this is Tala and Jondralin. Jondralin and Tala are both sisters to the new king, which is their brother, Jovan. Jovan is a piece of crap. Think of King Jeffrey from Game of Thrones. Everybody wanted to punch him in the face. That's this guy. He only listens to the Grand Vicar, which is like, think of like the Pope, and the five like archbishop like people. And he is just, his mind is clouded. He's a piece of shit. He hates his sister, John Jolin. She's the most beautiful person in all the land, literally all the land. They even stamped her face on a coin, and that's what they use as a currency. She is the most beautiful woman. I'm going to say it last time, the most beautiful woman in this story. Um, and she is trying to prove that she doesn't just want to be a princess, that she wants to be um, a liberating force, a man of the people or a woman of the people. Think of Daenerys Targaryen. She is Daenerys Targaryen, except she's not like batshit crazy like in season 8. Anyways, so we also have other not as important but slightly important point of views, but I'm gonna just stick to these three. Now, from these three, I think that. Oh, and we also have Galt. He's also very important. Galt is one of the knight archaics of King Eros, who's pretty much, think of him like the bad guy. And he's a righteous person who's seen a lot of death and killed a lot of people, but he is not a piece of crap. He protects a girl from Nail's village, and get becomes affectionate towards her because she reminds him of his daughter, and the girl's also very pretty. So, and he even admits, he's like, if this girl were ugly, I wouldn't give a rat's ass about her. He literally says something very similar to that in more crude words. Anyway, so this first book is the introduction to the prophecy, the introduction to what the hell is going on. It introduces all three sides of this strange triangle of power, of beliefs, of religion, and it very neatly um, gives a depiction of, all right, what's going to end up happening toward the end of this book. I feel like it's when it really starts picking up. To me, it took me a while to read this book. I thought at the start was kind of maybe like the first like 15% of the book, 20% of the book was kind of slow, right up until Nail's village gets invaded. I think it's very slow until then, but I kind of get it. You needed to build character. This is a start of an epic fantasy. Let me just say that, and a good epic fantasy. I also believe this is Brian Lee Durfee's first book ever, and if I take that into account, this is tremendous. This is a great first book. I think for me, I wanted to give this a higher rating. I wanted to be like, oh, finally another 5-star series. I'm gonna keep the trend going. I've had a really good reading year, but no, I can't give this a 5. I think a fair assumption of how I felt during the book would be a solid 4 out of 5 stars. And I think that's a very great place to be. I think if your first novel ever is a 4 out of 5, then you're really doing a good job. I've heard that the second book, I think it's called Blackest Heart, is much better than this one, and I really am looking forward to getting it. I didn't. I was flipping a coin halfway through the book. I was like, if I don't like the ending of this book, I'm not going to continue the trilogy because these books are chunky. This was about 800 and something pages, and I read this on my Kindle. So I was like, well, I usually buy books after I like them on the Kindle, but I did end up liking this one. I will go ahead and buy a physical copy, so you'll see it up here, probably maybe right here somewhere. If not, right over yonder. And I'll have a copy of that there. But guys, yes, this is a 4 out of 5 stars. I think the character development is top tier. You get fantastic character development. For me, that's a 5 out of 5. The plot to me was kind of like a weaker area. Not because I didn't, or maybe not the plot. I'm sorry. The character. No, not the characters. Man, I'm not gonna edit this, right? I don't edit my videos, but the not the characterization or the character development, but rather some of the characters. I will say that. For example, Tala's storyline to me kind of boring, kind of pointless. I think if you would have removed her entire storyline, the book would have gone exactly how it went, and it would have been like 100 pages shorter. Um, I don't. Maybe it's because she plays a larger role in the upcoming books. In this book, to me, she felt just kind of like a very minor secondary character, even though she is one of the princesses of her kingdom. But I look forward to seeing how she develops. I hope she develops, and I hope she could becomes kick ass like Arya Stark. I hope she becomes like Arya. That's the vibes I'm getting from her. Anyway, um, all the other characters were interesting, so I'll say that. The world, I think, is large, very very large world, which is what I like when you're starting an epic fantasy, right? You have different kingdoms, different animals, different races. It's not just humans. You have dwarves. You have shoot, what are they called? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Let me look this up. One second, one second, one second. I got you guys. The Valley, or Valley, which are these like kind of like they look like humans, but their skin is very translucent. Maybe you can say. So you can kind of like you see like their veins everywhere. They're not like see through. But they have like that funky skin tone. Yeah, and then you have other creatures, and it's cool. The magic system in and of itself is not like I'm gonna shoot fireballs at you. You have rather the angel weapons and angel stones. You have different creatures, like you have merfolk, right? The mermen or merwomen. I won't say mermaids, but yeah, mermaids. And you have yeah, different creatures altogether. Saber tooth tigers and stuff like that. It's cool. It's really cool. the point is, and I've dragged this on for long enough. This is a 15-minute review. I usually keep mine under 10 minutes, but I recommend this book. I really do. I really enjoyed this. It's not my favorite series ever, and it's not like my new 5-star series, but I think and I have hopes that the next book will be better based off of what you guys have said. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys. As always, thanks for contributing to the page. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to get the subscriber count higher. I see that we get a lot more viewers than we do subscribers. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Take care.